All right, Coach Uhlman here. You just opening statement for us, and then we'll get into some questions.
Yeah, what a pitching performance by Michael Lombardi. I think 11 or so strikeouts and total command. Really gave us a shot in the arm and really set the tone for us. And, when he's out there, the guys have a high level of belief and he's believable, obviously. His stuff's electric. And there's a reason why pro teams out there are going to want to get their hands on him here pretty shortly. So just really proud of him and his mentality and his effort. It's just, to watch him blossom over the course of 2.5 going on 3 years now has just been it's been really cool. And then the back end of our bullpen, Ben Brook and Montiel, tremendous job. And Montiel's a really good story about where he came from to where he is now, and for him to be in that moment to close out that game is pretty special as well. So production by the offense, we got a guy that, in my opinion, Blake Gillespie's worthy of being the pitcher of the year, but Trey Beard is every bit worthy of being the pitcher of the year. And we made him labor through 117 pitches through 6 innings and really battled him. We're able to get the lead, and their third baseman made a tremendous play. And then just didn't complete the play. But like I said to the kid, it was such a tremendous play. It's like if he doesn't even get his glove on, it's 2 runs anyways. Not like that probably made him feel a whole lot better, but that's just the reality of it. And that was a big inning. And then we were able to extend the lead. And Jason Wax homer in the 9th was pretty cool. So all in all, a really good effort against a really good team.
All right, we'll start in the room with questions online. Please put your hand up, then we'll get to you after that.
Garrett Morris with D1 Baseball. The game started at 8 a.m. local back for New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you know that this guy was able to go? He was going to give you a career high innings and just a career day?
Yeah, I mean he's our best arm. And FAU hadn't seen him last time. We were protecting him from a left oblique, and it's one of those things at the time where I said to people that we were not interested in jeopardizing the young man's career. We weren't interested in jeopardizing the rest of our season for short-term gain. And then lo and behold, he gets feeling good and healthy again. And here we are. And he goes out and I don't know what the single game strikeout record is, but I mean, I got to imagine it's pretty close.
Okay.
All right, Andrew.
Coach, so Lombardi obviously being your closer for the front half of this year, what led into the decision to give him the game 1 start in Clearwater today?
He's our best arm. And we felt that was the best matchup against that team to win game 1. And when you're in this tournament, winning the first game is the most important. Saves your bullpen, gets you a day off. It makes other people have to battle through. So, we went with our best guy, and he proved why he's our best guy. And so just a gritty performance. And really handcuffed what I feel like one of the best offenses in the league. And I think they're really dangerous. So. A lot of respect for what they do, but a lot of respect for what Michael was able to accomplish today, and it was pretty special.
Gary, go ahead.
Jay, obviously, Lombardi's stuff is what's gotten him to this point. It's elite, but how important is his competitiveness that goes with that?
Yeah, it's the separator. To me, I think that's what separates the guys that have consistency versus the guys that struggle through consistency is your elite mindset, your competitive nature, your ability to take, maybe a close pitch that you're, kind of right on the edge of maybe the inning turns a different way, and you're able to take that pitch and just move on from it and get to the next pitch. And he does that as well as anybody I've ever coached. So, again, I can't say enough about, the effort he gave us, a career high in all things today. It was and on one of the bigger stages out there.
And back in 2021, Keegan Gillies had 11 strikeouts in relief in the tournament in a game when the best arm didn't start. That's a difference.
I was here for that.
Yes, you were. That's a different story. But just was it a really easy decision when you looked at it to go with Lombardi, as you mentioned, your best arm and other factors going into this?
It really was. And obviously, we're scoreboard watching as last weekend unfolds, trying to, predict where things are going to land. And, as it started to become obvious where that sat, there's a reason why he was on a limited pitch count last weekend. And, we try to keep him for that game too, in case we're in position to, win a game. But again, it was knowing that was probably going to be this club we were going to face off against. The matchup was just screaming at us. So it was a no-brainer.
And then obviously what stood out at the plate was 2 outs, nobody on with a 2-1 lead. And then you worked 3 runs off of that. Just how huge was that? Just the way the game played out.
Huge, and it was crazy is it was kind of role reversal. The first scoring, well, we get on a pop fly, they misplay, and I let Pinckney swing away to try to move him or drive him in. I switch to bunt, and he fouls it back, and then he punches out, and then the next 2 get out, and it's like, ugh. And then they go and they get to 2. They get the guy on. They bunt him over. We get to 2 outs, and then they get a 2-out hit to take the lead. So it kind of swings some momentum. And then Gavin Scholes, I kidded him before the game. I said, well, Tio and Jackson got MVPs. I mean, you've been here this long too. It's about time. And he smashed that ball to center to give us a run, to tie it and kind of loosen it up a little bit. And we had a nice safety, a 3-1 safety. I was not interested in grounding into a double play. We needed to get that run, extend the lead. I was actually kicking myself a little when I didn't just bunt Hugh to start with, but hindsight's 2020. But just the way we extended the lead was huge. In the 9th inning, the homer was big. That was a huge run.
Anything else online?
Coach, talk about just getting this win and being able to save the bullpen. I mean, Montiel's pitch count was low. Even Carter Benbrook's pitch count was low. Talk about just having that day off tomorrow and not going deep into your bullpen.
That is the thing I've been saying since we started coming here is get that first one, get a good performance out of the first guy out there, and save the pen and get rested because they have a low pitch count, and sometimes that's worked here and sometimes that hasn't. In 2023 we had started Castro and he didn't even make it out of the second, and then Chandler Wells came in and went 5. So we've done it some different ways there, but it's really critical, that day off on a low pitch count out of the pen when you have when you feel like you're like an 8 to 9 arm team. That you need those days off, and it's really helpful for those guys. And those guys pitch in that environment, so they've already been out there. Now they can get back out there again on Thursday, and we can rock and roll.
Ken, go ahead. Ken, we're not hearing yet.
Text me, Ken.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Make way for the superstar.
All right. Starting winning pitcher, Michael Lombardi. Just kind of an opener from you two. How'd you feel today? You heard Coach talk about his confidence in throwing you out there game 1. Just talk us through the outing.
Yeah, no, I felt good. And it was good to get into rhythm early. I'm someone who, hits 2, and that oblique injury is kind of what cut off my season on offense. But I always liked coming in during the game because I would always be in flow. So starting the game and kind of chasing that rhythm that I have of kind of being in the flow of the game and getting my body going and, being on attack. So I think I did a good job of, getting ahead early and then making them more aggressive, which kind of worked to my advantage.
Hey, just talk about what was working today on the mound and what do you attribute to being able to last that long?
Yeah, we went after him with fastballs. I think everybody kind of saw that. It's hard to remember because you're so competitive, but I had to bet. I don't think I threw anything but a fastball since the 4th inning, and I credit that to Coach Izzy. I mean, he knows we've put in a ton of work, and I've seen my stuff tick out the last couple of years, and he's just super aggressive on the mound and has instilled that in all of us. So I know that when he's calling pitches, I have full belief that, that's the best thing for me. And, there's never a second thought on, what he puts, into the headset. It's just he calls it, and I know that that's the best pitch for me in that moment.
7 innings, like how'd you feel out there?
I felt good, and that's the longest inning outing I've had in a while, probably since high school. I said this to somebody walking out, and I kind of got like a second wind in that 4th or 5th inning. And you're getting up there, and I think my career high at Tulane was 5 innings. So kind of getting through that 5th and that 6th and 7th, I felt great. And when Coach Izio pulled me out of the game, I was like, I'm doing great. I feel awesome. Like, what are we doing? Not what are we doing? I questioned him, but he was like, yeah, you're like 105 pitches. And I was like, if he told me I was at 60, I would have said that makes, sounds about right. But I felt good going out there, and, he had to yank the ball out of my hands. I wanted to keep going.
All right, Andrew, go ahead.
Michael, when did Coach Izio and Coach Uhlman come to you and tell you that you're going to be starting game 1 of the conference tournament?
We had talked about it a little bit leading up, kind of depending on the matchup. And I tell them the same thing every time is, I'll do whatever it takes to win, whether it's, starting and, going opening and throwing 2 innings, throwing 7, coming at the back end, getting a save, whatever it takes to win. So I kind of found out a couple of days before they were thinking about it. And then they told me, I think Sunday night, that it was going to be me.
Garrett, go ahead.
Michael, the 11 strikeouts stand out, but the most pumped up you were the whole game was after rolling the double play grounder, I think in the 6th inning. When you're trying to extend yourself as long as possible, how key was that?
Yeah, it was huge. We've played elite infield defense the whole year. Mm-hmm. And Marcus Klein last year, I always said, is one of the best defensive infielders I've ever seen at shortstop. But Kakea Harrison gives him a run for his money. Marcus was unbelievable last year, but Kakea is every bit as good and just made unbelievable plays and is so consistent. So it feels good. I don't really get a lot of ground balls and throwing fastballs in the top of the zone, but getting one right there, you can see me walking off the mound already. I knew it was going to be double play with those 2 guys in the middle.
Andrew.
Michael, I think the cameras might have picked up on this on the ESPN Plus broadcast, but did you flash a finger to Coach Izio telling you that you wanted the next batter?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, 100%.
Anything else online? Michael, one more for you. Just talk about, you guys have been here before, won it the last 2 years, obviously. Confidence it gives you in coming out here, doing what you did, and having a day off, staying in the winner's bracket.
Yeah, no, it feels good. I just said to Coach Jay, it's 9-1 now, my career here. So that feels definitely really good. But we always call it home when we get here. We feel comfortable playing, and we've had so much success. And there's no doubt in our mind that whatever happens, as long as we stick to our approach and come out with energy, we feel like that we got a great chance to win every day when we're out here.
So we got one more online. Go ahead.
Yeah, Michael, you threw 105 pitches today. Do you think you'll be ready to pitch again on the weekend if you're needed, if the team is still in the tournament? How's that going to work out?
Yeah, I'll do whatever it takes to make sure my body is ready to go. One thing I definitely won't do is if I'm not recovered, I'm not going to force it just to say that I can be a tough guy and get back out there. If someone else fresh is going to be more effective than me, but I'm ready to do whatever it takes to win, and I'm going to take the next 4 or 5 days extremely seriously. So hopefully when we get to the weekend, I'm ready to go and can contribute to us winning this thing.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody.